Hi everyone, welcome to the latest edition of Liquidware Chats. In this episode, I talk to none other than Johan van Amersfoort. So Johan is extremely well known in the EUC industry. So firstly, we take a look at his career. From the early days when he first started out doing Citrix, to up to where he is at in his position now as technologist for EUC and AI at ITQ. We also look at ITQ's new DaaS Readiness Service, which is powered by Stratusphere UX. And then, as always, we delve into, the most hot topic in the world. That is, of course, AI. And we look at its impact on EUC. Really hope you enjoy the episode. Thanks very much.
Hey, James. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. How are you keeping?
I'm good. It's almost time to go to Barcelona. Probably listeners, when listening this, have already experienced Explore.
They will have. Yes. They will have, yes.
So we're kind of spoiling when this is recorded, but I'm fully preparing for Barcelona. I'm really excited to meet a lot of the EUC and virtualization community again. So
we're definitely in conference season, isn't it? It's that time of year where it kind of ramps up. I've got like 3 events myself before December, so it's that time of the year. But it's an exciting time of the year because you get to meet all the members of the community and all that kind of thing, and get to talk technical and hang out and socialize as well. So it's a really good time of the year, I think, as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's it's in tech, especially when you're attending so many conferences. It's like how you call it, like a wave effect or of some kind. So there's always it's always a couple of months that you get to spend with the family and be in your own country, your own and in your own office a lot. But then when the conference season starts again, then it's always I would say it's a challenge to create a good work-life balance, but it's you have small kids as well.
Yeah,
it's a challenge.
It is definitely, and my wife is an academic, and she's working on an EU project, which means she's traveling quite a bit as well. So At the moment, we're like comparing calendars. Is like who's at home, who's away. So it's a bit mad, but it's a challenge. But at the same time, I think it's worthwhile because it's always great to get with people. But yes, there is challenges, and as you said, we both have young children, so that brings it's like, where are you off to? And I'm like, oh, Daddy has to go away for work. You know yourself. So
I have one agreement with my kids. So that's when I am abroad for more than 3 days, it's mandatory for me to bring gifts home.
I've got a similar rule as well. If it's under 3 days, there's no gifts. And the frequency of trips ramped up a little while ago, and myself and my wife cut them out completely. But I'm about to go away for 4 days in a couple of weeks to E2E. So I'm going to have to get them something. And I think she's going to be away for 3 or 4 days. So similar rules in this household. So just going back to yourself, Johan, can you give us a bit of a background view of yourself and how you got into EUC and are now in the position you are? Just a quick
absolutely.
overview.
So I always make fun of the fact that my career started in the late 90s, but I actually started in December 99, probably the latest in the 90s you could start your career. And I worked at a really small ISV that built software for travel agencies, and they distributed their applications through WinFrame. So I started there basically as a WinFrame admin.
So did you have to do anything around the Millennium Bug then to alter your software?
Hypothetically, yes, but that was taken care of by others that worked long at the company already.
But it was a thing, wasn't it? It was like we all had to, because I worked at that time. I worked for a shipping company, and we had our main system, and I had to God, this shows you how long ago it was. I had to take a physical backup tape of our server, drive it from one side of Dublin to the other, get the updated software, and drive it back, install it, and then pray the server didn't absolutely tank. So it's like, yeah,
Oh man,
99, December 99 was a weird time. So
yeah, they had a mainframe based application that
yeah.
they replatformed to a modern back then 4GL application based on
Mm-hmm.
Progress. So I was actually in the middle of migrating all of the existing or the previous platform, the mainframe platform, to the new WinFrame based platform, and those I think many of the EUC folks that worked like late 90s, early 2000s had similar experiences. There were a lot of different mainframe based apps, and we still see them at customers. I think about 2 years ago, I had a customer that still worked on ACE 400. Dude, that's older than I am. And
it is, but you'd be surprised how many banking organizations run on AS400s.
This was a banking organization.
Yes,
yeah.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
I worked for one of our banks here, and we had an AS400, and I remember one year it went down around Christmas, and the ATM network stopped working. People went,
if you want to earn a lot of money,
there's a lot of AS400s still there.
Yeah, if you want to earn a lot of money, either learn AS400 or COBOL. That's probably the two things that'll get you rich.
Yeah, exactly. There used to be a room of COBOL programmers in the particular bank I worked with, and they weren't busy, but when they were called upon, they were called upon. So
yeah. No, but yeah, coming back to what I witnessed from or I actually played a role a lot in building those WinFrame platforms, and did the WinFrame to MetaFrame XP 1.8 and XP later migration as well. Played with Enfuse. I don't know if you still remember that, but that was the first web-based portal that you could integrate with MetaFrame, so you could distribute applications through an ASPX or an ASP-based web application. That was ahead of its time. It was insane how awesome that was.
Enfuse went on for quite a while. When I worked for a Citrix partner, I came across Enfuse quite a lot.
Really?
Yeah. And then, obviously what was the first iteration of the NetScaler? It was the Gateway, wasn't it? It was Citrix. It was a CAG. Wasn't the CAG the first one?
That was
appliance.
I moved away to another company that didn't do Citrix, so
there we go. There's a segue. Yeah, because you would be known as a VMware guy, and here you are talking about Citrix. Yeah. It's like this is a bit of a revelation. I was not aware of this fact that you were so deep in the weeds in Citrix to start.
Well, let me get something here. It should be a CD laying around here. No, I think. Well, I still have the original MetaFrame or the WinFrame CD and the MetaFrame 1.8 CD with the suitcase flying man on it.
Yeah. Oh, very cool.
Yeah, that's just I like to collect stuff that was important to my career. So that's one of those things.
Yeah, I think Doug Brown has the most extensive collection I've seen. So
oh, really?
Yeah, because obviously he's an old Citrix guy, so he, not that Doug is old.
What's always also really awesome? Like I started playing around. So I'm gonna in Explore. I'm gonna talk about home labs and share my experience of 25 years of home labbing. And my first PC and home lab were based on a Ford 86 DX2, and I don't know if you can see it here.
Yeah.
This is an unused, like a brand new DX2, and it's signed by the architect.
Oh my word! Wow, that's cool,
Mr. Pat Gelsinger, who was the CEO of VMware, and now is the CEO of Intel.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's cool. There you go. That's
Again,
cool.
yeah, part of my career. But yeah, I left the Citrix company, or the Citrix partner back then. Did a lot of Microsoft stuff for quite a while.
Mm.
And in 2008 ish, I started at the same the same Microsoft partner, but within their new hosting team that built a platform to offer modern applications, but again, 4GL based applications to a wide variety of healthcare related institutes. Could be hospitals, could be pharmacies, and they used vSphere as a base layer, or ESXi back then. On top of that, we had a shit ton of RDSH hosts and used 2X. I don't know if you still know that, but 2X was acquired by Parallels and was kind of a load balancer and kind of an integration, or a plugin, if you will, to publish applications from RDSH.
Okay.
And have that seamless based app running on an endpoint. Did a lot of work there. Learned how to virtualize applications using Softricity, SoftGrid, which got acquired by Microsoft.
Yeah,
obviously.
Softricity and SoftGrid obviously became AppV, as we all know.
Dude, I spent like 3-4 years
as a packager.
Yeah, building packages, but did a lot of ThinApp back then as well when that got acquired by VMware. And along the way at that organization, kind of, got the spark for VMware. I saw my first vMotion back then. I think that was probably 2005, 2006-ish.
Yeah.
And, seeing what ThinApp could do, witness the first versions of VDM, so what eventually became VMware View and Horizon. I decided that I wanted to do that full time, 100%, and moved away from that company. Applied for a job at ITQ as a send in an open how you say it, like an open letter.
Yeah,
like
an
I love
application.
to work an open application, and they didn't have an EUC team back then. They did a lot of VMware, but I just shared my experiences, and I got a text message from one of the founders, Francisco, an hour after I submitted the application. He immediately invited me for a conversation, and a week later, everything was signed and sealed and done. And now we're almost 10 years later. We have a pretty big EUC team with a lot of different types of specialists, with people from the data center side of things, people that come from the mobility side of things. We have a couple of guys that were like 100% packagers before they joined us. And together we have I think a really awesome, diverse team spread across all of the countries that we're situated in. And proud of the progression we made so far.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And as you know, I came to your office a couple of weeks ago. We had an awesome day. I met the team. I got to present about Command Control, our new SaaS real-time remediation solution. So and we recorded a couple of videos as well. So I get how awesome ITQ are. And good segue there is we discussed while we were there is you have a new service coming out, which just happens to be based on Stratusphere. Can you tell us a little bit about that service?
Yeah, definitely. So a quick step before that is that within my current role at ITQ, I'm responsible or co-responsible for developing services that add value to the stuff that we do with customers. And in the last 10 years that I spent doing stuff at customers, could be like health checks, could be migrations or upgrades or full-blown design and deploys. One thing that for a company that strongly focuses on the entire portfolio of VMware, one thing that misses in the toolbox of VMware is a solution that gets you all of the insights you need to have before you start an engagement with a customer. So we did a lot of work on finding the right tool in the market. And, what you need to know about such a tool is that if you do a health check at could be a small customer, could be a big customer, doesn't really matter. You don't want to spend a week deploying a tool that is then ready to assess information from endpoints. So I met Morteza, I think he leads the north.
He's our VP for Northern Europe.
Yeah, and I think that was already 2015 or 16ish. I think he just started the European office. We had a conversation about like how could Liquidware add value to what we're doing there, and the fact that you could just deploy Liquidware Stratusphere in half a day and already have agents enrolled in endpoints that start to collect information, that's what we were looking for. So what you mentioned, like we developed a new service. What we also found out in the last couple of years is that customers have different starting points when they go into their digital workspace journey. So we call it the digital workspace journey. Some customers move towards cloud. Some customers want to move towards like a new version of a certain platform. Some customers want to implement a certain, security methodology, if you will. But they all always have the same starting point. They don't know where to start. So what we developed together with you guys at Liquidware is a variety of different assessment services where we basically help the customer from their first question, or the first starting point. I want to move towards a DaaS platform.
Yeah.
Well, what like I know as well, and probably most of the listeners will know, is that moving towards a DaaS platform by itself, that's not the challenge. But for instance, if you look at Microsoft has two main kind of DaaS platforms. It's AVD and it's Cloud PC. Look at AWS. They have EC2. They have Workspace as core.
Workspaces.
They have AppStream. They have Workspace by itself. Then there's Horizon on VMC on AWS. So that's 5 different offerings. So like if a customer wants to move towards AWS, they basically don't know like where to start, but also what kind of DaaS offering to choose. So this is what we help customers with. We deploy Stratusphere. We use the API in Stratusphere to collect the right information from all of the endpoints that the customer has. And based on that information, we determine a couple of things. First of all, we use the data lake to determine what kind of offering would be best suitable for the customer. And we do that based on the application set, based on how they automate things already within their current organization, how they want to expand or extend towards cloud. We also use that information to determine what the best cost model would be. You can imagine that if you have a little or a small number of apps, maybe like 5 or so, it totally makes sense to keep them in a base image of an app of a desktop. But if you have a large number of applications, it might make sense to deliver them in a different way using app volumes or something else. So this is also what we do. So we kind of make a TCO calculation based on what we think would be the best cost-effective option. And using the same Liquidware technology, we also determine what the best route towards a DaaS platform will be. And again, the reason why we chose Stratusphere to do so is the simplicity of deploying it, but also the fact that we can deploy it everywhere. So if you take an entire journey from a customer that has an on-prem workspace, and I want to move towards cloud, there's different phases there. So the first thing we do is run the assessment. When that's done, we start a proof of concept.
Mm.
And we run Stratusphere during the proof of concept in cloud as well to
Yep.
collect the same information and basically validate if performance related information is what the customer expected. When that's done and the proof of concept is successful, we create a migration plan and help customers to migrate towards cloud. Could be that we do that in a big bang, but we can also move them based on a use case or on a per single user basis. And when then they are migrated, then we still use Stratusphere to keep in control, because what we quite often found out at projects in the last 10 years is if we close the door behind after we finish the project, quite often after like 6 months or after a year, nothing really has changed at the customer. They didn't update applications or they haven't upgraded the platform. And especially when moving towards a platform that updates by itself every 2 weeks or every month or whatsoever, you need to keep the stuff that you run inside the platform up to date as well. So now we're using Stratusphere as a managed service for those customers as well. So we keep in control. We keep getting the right information to inform customers about changes, about maybe stuff they could apply so they become more cost efficient. And it's to us, it's the best. It's like the Swiss Army knife. We can do basically everything with Stratusphere.
I agree, and as you said, there's a couple of things I just wanted to pick up on there. One, you said, the big thing about Stratusphere, it's platform agnostic. It doesn't care. It will run on anything, whether that be physical, cloud. And then, as you said, it's all about keeping control. And we both know how essential that is when it comes to cloud, because your cost can spiral once you go into cloud if you're not controlling it. And you can do that TCO calculation. And given where we are with the economy worldwide, cost savings are vital for organizations. They, if they make a commitment and say move to cloud, then they obviously want to control those costs as well.
Yeah, 100% true. And this is also, I think, where we show our added value. So ITQ originated as just a consultancy company. Mm-hmm. So we sold knowledge. That was always what we said.
Sure.
But now, like selling just selling knowledge is not enough anymore, simply because customers don't have the knowledge about their platform anymore. They could be understaffed, but it's also like deploying a platform that gets updated every 3 months. It's overseeable. The same with Windows. Like Windows used to get updated every 6 months. That was fine. But now with updates being published every week for applications, base images, for everything you want to run in cloud or on-prem, if you will, customers just cannot handle those changes anymore. And this is why I think our transition to become an MSP partner shows that added value and helps customers to get, to help them focus on what they do best. If they're a healthcare related provider or something else, let them focus on healthcare. We'll focus on getting the IT done and getting the lights up and running. And also, and this makes us different from other MSP partners, I think, is that we continuously add innovation. If you take those big MSP partners, they probably add innovation at the beginning of a contract. And after 3-4 years, they start negotiating again with their customer, because the customer wants to have that new innovation being added, like, I don't know, new version of Windows or whatsoever.
Yeah.
But that's also something that you can't do anymore, because Windows updates every 2 weeks, month.
I think it depends on what way you set your updates within your organization. So,
well, but take Workspace ONE, that has new features every month, every single month. So you can't just do nothing.
No, you can't just put up a platform and just leave it there. It needs constant attention. And I suppose this is one of the things that automation brings into it, isn't it? Because
absolutely,
and makes it a repeatable process. And that's probably a key added value that ITQ brings to their customers. And by automating things, and you know, you don't want to be manually going and updating base images and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I can understand. We're in a different world now, and as you said, organizations, we want to make it simple for them, but that doesn't mean there isn't complexity.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, and having that Swiss Army knife as your main solution to help customers, keep in control over that platform.
Yeah,
that's essential, and I think this is why Stratusphere has been one of our favorite tools to do that. And now it's fully embedded in our MSP offerings, which I think we're pretty proud of that.
That's very cool, and a really good use case for Stratusphere. And I think there will be more information coming out about that soon in the near future.
Oh, definitely, and we're working with the product teams at Liquidware to we also have some insights on what's coming, and we cannot be more excited about some of the new features that will be announced soon, I guess, because there's going to be some really awesome stuff there.
Yeah, no, there is. There's lots of awesome stuff to come. I can't say exactly when yet, but soon. With Stratusphere, and obviously we're developing command control as well as our kind of real time option, and that has added value for, obviously, especially if you're winning like cloud desktops, cloud PC, that type of thing. So yeah, so that's a really, as I said, really good use case for Stratusphere. So just to kind of me and you've talked about this before, but AI in the EUC. So it would be great to kind of get your take on it, where you see a use case for it. Obviously, we've got Copilot coming in a month's time, probably, maybe less. Actually, it's the beginning of November, I think. So that's going to have an impact on kind of our day to day. But do you see other larger scale use cases, or what are you personally yourself and ITQ? Because I know you are a technologist for EUC and AI.
Well, the listeners cannot see what's happening, but
but it's on the video. We saw the fireworks. So go on.
Yeah. So there's new gestures in the latest version of macOS that lets you just do a hand signal, and then suddenly it automatically does something. So there's now fireworks when I raise 2 thumbs up. Yeah. If I have just 1 thumb up, it'll do a thumbs up.
Yeah.
If I do this make a heart sign.
Word.
Dude, this is insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming back to the question, I presented the session in Explore in Vegas about the what AI for EUC. What does it mean? So I think there's a separation between companies like VMware or Liquidware or other OEMs using AI as solution to provide added value to customers.
Yeah,
I think this is really awesome. This is like, if you look at VMware, they have Workspace ONE with their anomaly detection. So this is already something that machine learning is being used to detect anomalies in a large scale. And I think that's great, but that's just, to be fairly honest, like a marketing kind of thing. So we are a company, we are leveraging AI. Awesome. But I think there's a second thing there, and that's something that quite often people forget, is if you run AI related applications locally, there's a challenge with like endpoints. Windows by itself and the hardware we've been using for our Windows endpoints, they don't have specific hardware if you don't use a GPU to run those AI workloads. And I think this is, to me personally, this is one of the most exciting things I'm seeing in the market. Look at the announcement of Apple's Vision Pro. So it was one of the first devices that doesn't just have an ARM chiplet with CPU instructions. It also contains different dedicated designed chiplets for specific tasks. So there's an augmented reality chiplet. There are different machine learning chiplets. So what we're seeing that is changing, that rapidly changing, also with Windows 11, is that more and more processes within an operating system are capable of running specific things on a specific chiplet. And this is where the world of AI or AI in general is moving towards. So I saw an announcement this morning that NVIDIA and AMD are designing an ARM-based platform
for Windows.
For Windows.
Yeah.
And one of the comments on the blog post I read was, yeah, but ARM is not that powerful, so why should Microsoft do that? Well, that's not true. Look at how the Vision Pro and the operating system that runs on it is capable of doing something insane. It has that augmented view. It has enough computational capacity to do the most beautiful things, and still it runs on ARM. So I think what we're slowly seeing from an AI perspective, or like a computational perspective in general, is that we're moving away from those complex instruction sets, those complex CPUs, and moving towards a world where the hardware has been designed to get more compute power out of more energy efficient chiplets, but also different types of chiplets. Some that do specific ML-based calculations, some that do augmented reality calculations, and others that are still there to do some of the general purpose computations. But this is, I think this is really really interesting from like where we are right now. When CUDA, the computational instruction set, was created, I think in the late 90s, by an architect that still works at NVIDIA. It was, I think he invented it by accident. It was kind of a cool thing to be able to run calculations on a GPU.
Yeah.
But now it's fully embedded in what we do.
Yeah.
And it goes beyond just sending a computational execution to a CUDA core, because an NVIDIA GPU nowadays has tensor cores, it has RT cores, it has CUDA cores, it has so much more. And I think this makes the world of AI, for me personally, very excited right now.
That's really cool. I think, AI has so many facets to it. There's more than just ChatGPT, and that's a different angle, which then we've had actually, because I asked this question to every guest. So, Johan, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. I would like to thank you for being on the podcast, and hope everyone enjoys the episode. Thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me, and look forward to working more closely together and seeing you in one of the future conferences.
Absolutely. Thanks very much.